All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. Um, Sometimes I get sidetracked, because I have a lot of physical labor that I do, um, which is an advantage. But I'm able to actually stay on top of things when I have the time allotted to me to actually think and meditate, view historical records and documents, um, to try to get to us what's going on. Now, let me lay out again for you where we at now. I was talking with Brother Brian and Sister Chantel last night, the family from Georgia. And we were sitting at the kitchen table, myself, Sister Carol, and with Brother Brian, him and Brother Brian. What he said was he brought up the point when he was staying at Elder Doug's home. How Elder Doug had these old pictures from the inception of our little small community. And of course you can see a very young Pastor Dow and a very young Sister Carol. And of course, you can see different portions and layout of the land. And he said it's remarkable with the few amount of people that you have and that is here. With this few amount of people, how much work y'all have gotten done and been able to accomplish. I said to Brother Brian, and of course it often causes me to reflect again. And I need for all of you to listen to me out there. I really truly need for you to listen to me real close. Brother Brian and Sister Chantel, they probably have known us about a year or something like that. They came out of World Changers Church, a Cleflo Dollar Church down there in Georgia. Some way, somehow, the Most High had them to start listening to me. They were sitting in churches, kind of like many of you people, hearing this message, looking around at all these people who seem to be having a excellent life and agreeing with whatever's being said, but he just couldn't square it. He couldn't square it at all with his mind. He's sitting up there thinking, man, why is everybody else around here got all this going on? And it looks like it's fine and stuff, but I just cannot square what is being said in my mind. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I began to talk to Brother Brian, and I said to him, brother, I'm not what you would call after the world's sort. I don't know what or how people define intelligence. I really, truly don't. I assume that we all have our areas of expertise and our areas of intelligence. But most people just go through life, never ever truly to stop and to step back and see the reality of what's really truly going on. I told him, I said, it was in my early 20s, Brother Brian, that I took a step back and I said, there's got to be something more to life than what's going on now. So I started to set myself aside. I started to set myself apart. I started to study. I started to read, study. Mainly number one source is the scripture, which gives me all of my direction today in this. And I found out that the Bible is totally different than the way we've had it presented to us. But I told Brother Brian, I said, when we started this community, I can remember how that the greatest attack first came from a family because, they know what's going on. And when I say my family, I'm talking about my family, my wife's family, stuff like that. But the attack really wasn't that great for us because we had already made the moves to separate it. Since Sister Carol and I have been what you call legally married since 18 and 19 years old. Sister Carol and I have been together since we were 16 and 15 years old. And as soon as we got married, we were always away. We were away from natural family, so we really didn't have all that influence. It wasn't really hard for us to make moves and to position ourselves because and which was a good thing. I found it was a very good thing because, soul ties to family can be a hindrance to advancing. But anyway, I got called crackpot, kook, fanatic, cult leader, you name it. They literally run my name. Raked it through the coals. It still didn't stop us from doing what I believe, and I knew to believe what the Father had put in my heart to do. And you have to understand that when I was doing this, Brother Brian was a teenager. Well, he's probably 15, 16 years old. I'm 30, my early 30s by the time we moved out here to this community. But I got all the wisdom and understanding the way I see things and view things today from the Bible, and not the way that these people have been presenting it to you out there all these years. No, strictly from the book itself. And I started to see the history of things. I started to see how history repeats itself. So then I started buying a lot of books on the Roman Empire. Started doing a little bit of study on the Ottoman empires, since it was one of the last great standing empires before we have all this mess that we have today. And I'm watching America follow the same exact example as the Roman Empire and the Ottoman Empire. And I'm also watching what society does, since we have this news media outlet and we have the advent of the internet, what they use to influence the minds of the people. Because, communications and advertisements, the majority of it propaganda, they do everything they can to try to get the public consensus, because if there's a system that is entrenched, that is against you, that system does not want to, propose itself to you as if it's against you. It wants to actually get you to think that it's there for you, and it has your best interests in mind. So I'm sitting and watching world events. I got a good understanding. I started making even more moves after I exercised some self-autonomy, being out here. And so against wind and tide, it's especially in the area I live in, because the people out, the area I live in around here, these people, they don't receive us as if we're, when you go to a place, normally there's a housewarming party, people will come and neighbors will introduce themselves and all. No, we didn't get all that. Because the truth is, it doesn't affect me or what I'm doing whatsoever at all. I'm at the place where the Most High put me, but I live in a very racist, backwoods county. And the intelligence of the demographics of the people here is just really not too high. So often I'll tell people over and over again, consider the source, and just wipe that stuff on out and go on by. Continue to keep doing what you know to do is right. And the Most High, He'll protect you. So anyway, I started looking at these things, and I started seeing how that, man, this world is changing vastly before us now. I saw way, way, way back then, way before I started moving this way, that when they started this GAFTA, CAFTA, NAFTA, this ABC soup stuff, or what they call, quote unquote, free trade, I had already had an understanding as a young man of what the scriptures were saying. And when I started seeing all these things being implemented, it gave me vision and knowledge and understanding to let me know what's going on in the time we're living in now. And again, I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. It is amazing and appalling to me how history has this uncanny ability to continue to keep repeating itself. And when it says that there's nothing new under the sun, believe you me, there is nothing new under the sun. It may seem new to you because you are here and you are now. That's why it's good for us to have the eyes of history, because when we are able to look into the past, it gives us clear vision, providing you can see and your vision is not impaired, to the future that is set before us. I said all that to say this. I said all that to say that don't believe anything that the mainstream news media or any of these financial networks are putting out before you. My advice to you is And I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. And I know how difficult it is for you to build a rapport with people who can be trusted, because the reason why we have so many problems trusting people is because the truth is, now this is the naked truth. If we really truly look in that mirror, it's not really other people. The problem is the person who we're looking at in that mirror who has no honor and no integrity of heart. And all the reservations and the fears that they have from opening their heart and being truthful to others is because they are afraid and scared that they will be taken advantage of. But the truth is, the same thing that others, that you guard yourself from others doing to you, you'll do the same thing to them. Why not just adopt a position that if anybody that is contrary to the way that you're going, just remove them out of your life? That's, what, 7 billion people on the earth? And then keep going. There'll be a few people that get it. There'll be a few people that have the same like mind. It won't be many. And you're not there to actually try to convince the whole world of what's really truly going on, because you're not going to do that. But there are a few people that get it and understand. It's important for us as a people to develop relationships and continue to keep developing good, healthy relationships, because we're going to need each other. I'm a trusted man simply because my footprint and my lifestyle proves that I can be trusted. My trust is not based on what other people do to me or do against me or for me. It's based on the own integrity of my heart that I've learned and matured and developed in myself. I don't have any reservations up in front of me. You ever meet somebody and then you kind of look at them, but you have that skepticism, you have that suspicion, you have that doubt, you have that guard up that's sitting there right up in front of you. I don't deal with that at all with no person whatsoever, because I understand what's going on spiritually. I deal with every man and woman based on their own merits, not by experiences I've had in the past. I'm not going to judge people unfairly based on bad experiences. And I've had a lot of bad experiences concerning people in the faith, but I still continue to keep driving on, simply because there are a few people just like me out there. And I would not do an injustice to those people by trying to look at them and unfairly judging them based on past experience of people who have shown themselves nothing to be selfish hypocrites. But I told Brother Brian, this community got built, brother, with these calluses on his hands, along with a few, only a few faithful brothers. I'm talking about less than 6 faithful brothers and the sisters who would take care of us. But this community got built by hard workers. You go back in Nehemiah, the 4th chapter, or Nehemiah 13, and you see that these people had look at this, a mind to work. Did y'all hear what I said? A mind to work. There's not too many men in this society that has that kind of mind. Not to work. And so therefore, there won't be too much to get done then, will it? So anyway, against wind and tide, we embarked on this endeavor, and we're watching our civil liberties erode. Even more so, we're watching the expansion of government and its appetite right before our very eyes continue to expand and continue to grow. From my own personal assessment, United States of America, we just had another downgrade of our credit rating. And I know what the pundits are saying out there, but I'm personally telling you that I believe that somewhere along about 2016, 2017, that China is going to surpass the United States of America globally in GDP. I believe that. We got a great shift that is before us right now. A great shift. Now, I know that most of you people are sitting back saying, Okay, so China's going to pass us, And most people don't have any understanding what I just got finished saying. Let me just try here in just a few minutes to lay out what that means. That means life as you know it is getting ready to change and shift greatly. That means the United States of America will no longer be the world's superpower. That means the world is going to be dominated by the perspective of the Chinese and India. Let me throw India in there as well, because India is going to be right behind them. And that means there's going to be a new order, a brand new world order. And right now what's happening in this country is that you've got the aristocracies, the oligarchies, and the nobles. All of them are positioning themselves to function in this world. Because, as long as you are a W-2 citizen, and that means you're a second-class wage earner, living from paycheck to paycheck, you're going to continue to keep watching. You're going to continue to keep watching your income erode by way of taxes. This year we just have another raiser of taxes. We just had, people are getting anywhere between $50 and $100 taken out of their paycheck every single month. I had a radio interview with Eric a few weeks ago, and of course it was on Community. And I said all that to say that it's amazing how that I was being mocked, scorned, derided, chided, and ridiculed all this time. Now I've got people blowing my phone up, calling me from the beginning, as soon as daylight hit to the end of that evening. People are asking me to come to meetings, to talk about certain subjects, to come to different states, to talk about communities. They want me to, how do you have a successful community? They want me to talk about what's going on in the world and what we need to be doing now as a people. Now it seems like one of the most intelligent men that there is. And now everybody wants to hear from me. But some people don't want to hear from me, because that means that they would have to actually swallow their pride, because they don't have the answers. And so I have people that want to come by to get ideas on what they need to do. I have noticed, though, that as this spirit, as we continue to move on, that very few people actually want biblical direction. They want to try to do this thing naturally without him, which, hey, you want to do that, that's fine and good. But hey, you have a right to pick and choose the way you want to worship, the way you want to believe, simply because you have breath in your body. That's totally up to you. But I'm watching as my exposure is increasing. Most people are just getting past the delivery of preaching. Some people know me as a man, and they're watching and they're learning. You got very little time to prepare. You need to develop a good relationship with people you can trust. And in order to have friends, you must first show yourself friendly. You need to discern with a critical eye those who you allow to come in to your network. Because even now, when the Bible says, and the Lord added to the church daily, I'm beginning to understand more. It's not because people choose to come and want to be a part of. No, it's like that the elders have a critical eye, and we watch you very carefully to see if we want you to be added, because we have a clearance in our heart that the Most High is adding you to us. You're going to need people, and you're not going to survive this wave that's coming with your own little family, your own homestead, when you have a mob of people who have no morals and no values that will overrun your camp. Change the way you think. Start listening to intelligent people. And most of you can start simply by listening to me.